Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 316. Listener feedback number 25. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at Weaver's Department Store. Drop by over at Weaver's and you'll find all kinds of cool Mayberry things. They got t-shirts. I know you'd love a t-shirt. Summer will be coming before you know it. Get you a Mayberry t-shirt. Nip it in the bud. There's also books and other things. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. Executive producer of episode number 316 is Sarah Blaine. Woo! Thank you, Sarah, for being executive producer, and thank you all for joining me here on Two Chairs No Waiting, your Andy Griffith Show fan podcast. My name is Alan Newsom, and it is always a pleasure to spend time in Mayberry with you. And I hope you're going to enjoy this episode. The last 3 episodes have been amazing. I have definitely enjoyed those. So if you didn't watch those or hear those, I definitely want to encourage you to head back over to episodes. What numbers would that be? 15, 14, and 13. So 13, 14, and 15. 300, 13, 14, and 15. And listen to the Elinor Donahue interviews because, wow, they were, I think, great. So I want you to head over there and check those out. And if you just listened, I might suggest that you might enjoy actually watching those episodes on YouTube on the video. So there's a link in the show notes. You'll see the link to the videos there. If you watch them, I think you would enjoy those because you actually get to see Elinor and hear her tell her stories and see the clips from the show and everything. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. And so as a part of that, I actually got some feedback about that episode. Now, this feedback was, for me, real special because it came from the man himself who was doing the interviews. So I really appreciated it. I got an email on the 17th of January, which was when I aired that first episode with Elinor Donahue, the interview he was doing with her. And he had sent me an email that said this. He said, "Alan, I periodically check your website and was pleasantly surprised that you broadcast the Elinor Donahue lecture. I have a copy of the video, but I haven't watched the interview in 9 years. I truly enjoyed seeing it again and look forward to the concluding parts. Thanks for bringing back this wonderful experience, Neal Brower." Wow, that was the guy himself. Now, the nice thing about that was Neal had several years ago told me that I could use any audio or video clips from his Professor Brower classes that he does at Mayberry Days as part of the podcast. But, I just kind of, he said that, and I know he meant it, but I'm always a little, don't want to overdo or take advantage of somebody offering to do stuff like that for me. So I haven't shown very many of the we haven't used very many of Neal's lectures, but that may change because not only did he write me then, but on the 27th, 10 days later, I got this email. He says, from Neal Brower, he says, "I just finished watching part 3 of the lecture. Great memories. I know you don't want to do this too often, but I would like to see the Dillards with Maggie Peterson interview and the Harvey Bullock interview that he had done several years ago. These are 2 that I got a lot of positive feedback from the audience. Another really good one would be Jack Ellison. Let me know if that's a possibility. Thanks, Neal." Wow. I wrote him back and said, "Neal, you bet. I would love to do those episodes. The only reason I haven't is used more of them is because I didn't want to abuse the privilege of using your lectures." That's what I told him. "If you're happy to have me post them, then I'm more than happy to do the work required to edit them and get a clean version of the clips, and I'll work on them, so be watching." So there you got it, folks. I told Neal that, so that means I'm telling you as well that in coming weeks, sometime here in the fairly near future, you'll be able to see some of these amazing interviews that Neal had done at Mayberry Days here on the podcast. And so I'm thrilled to be able to do that, and I just hope and pray that and believe that you guys are going to enjoy it just as much as I will. So thank you, Neal. Thank you for writing. Thank you for giving us permission to do those. and making me not feel guilty for actually using your content. All right, so we had a voicemail that came in that I wanted to share with you tonight. And this voicemail is from, let me pull this up real quick. It's from Hi Agens, Agens. Hi. So he had written back in September probably, and I'm just now getting around to playing this for you guys. But this is related to episode number, let's see if I get this right, episode number 184. 184 of the podcast is what this is related to. And it's called Lurene Tuttle. Now, if you don't remember about Lurene Tuttle, you need to go back and listen or watch. You can do either one. And this one's another neat one to kind of watch because you'll be able to see the actual video of her on the episodes of the Andy Griffith Show and be able to see. So you'll really recognize. Now, Lurene Tuttle, for those that don't remember, she was Annabelle Silby, and she was also the lady shoplifter who was stealing from Ben Weaver's store. And Lurene, she also appeared in a lot of other things. So that's what this particular voicemail is about. So let me go ahead and play this for you as we hear what Hi has to say. So Hi, go for it.
All right, I called earlier today. My name is Hi Agen. I'm just learning this about you, but you did a thing on Lurene Tuttle, and it's very interesting. And if you want to make a connection with Lurene Tuttle to Mayberry, again, it's very easy. Lurene Tuttle, as you know, was the mother-in-law of composer John Williams, who was married to her daughter, Barbara Ruick, who was a prominent actress in the 50s. Her most notable role was in the movie version of Carousel. In any case, John Williams composed the music for Ron Howard's movie Far and Away. And, of course, Ron Howard was Opie on Mayberry. I have loads of information about Lurene Tuttle. A marvelous actress, very, very active. And as I mentioned, she played the Swallow on the famous recording of Oscar Wilde's The Happy Prince with Orson Welles and Bing Crosby. Anyway, thank you.
So I want to thank Hi for writing in, and definitely want you to head on back and check out episode number 184. And as I mentioned there, as he mentioned, I didn't know that she was the mother-in-law of the composer John Williams, who did the Star Wars themes, Superman, all kinds of movie themes that you would be aware of. So you go back and listen to that episode, and you'll find out more. But we remember her as Annabelle Silby and the lady shoplifter. Those were our two big remembrances of Lurene Tuttle. So thanks for writing in, or calling in, I should say, Hi, and we really do appreciate it. So thank you very much. All right, so next up, I want to talk a little bit about the Mayberry community, because we're always hearing about just bad things that are going on in the world and how tough things can be. And here at Two Chairs No Waiting and at the imayberry.com website, which I hope all of you guys have been to, I hope you know about the imayberry.com website, where you can go and find out all kinds of Andy Griffith Show related information. There's all kinds of things there. And if you look on the front page of the website, there's a link there to the iMayberry community. Now, that is a special community. And as part of that community is really on Monday nights. I normally record this show on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And as part of that, we usually have, 12 to 15, sometimes more, sometimes less, people in the chat room. There are people in there right now, and I even recording this show early on Monday because I have somewhere I have to go this evening. But there's a community that has developed around this Mayberry. The iMayberry community, the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board Digest, which is about, 13 or 1,400 people that get an email every day. But it's a special, special group of people. Now, we just got this voicemail in from KJ. And I think she expresses just a little bit about how much the Mayberry community here that you can be a part of, or you are a part of if you're listening to the podcast, what it really means. So, KJ, go for it. Well, I can't get KJ to play. So let me try this a different way. Hold on just a second. But KJ, she had called in because recently KJ's mother had passed away. And so here's KJ. Let's get her going here.
I wanted to call and say a huge thank you to all of my Mayberry family for the beautiful flowers that you all sent for my mom's passing. It was so sweet to see the card that read, 2 chairs, no waiting. Thank you all for your love and concern. Mayberry really is my hometown. Thanks and good night.
Wow. So that shows you, KJ's mother had passed away, and we missed her because she's one of our regulars in our chat room, and she took the time to call in so that her Mayberry friends would know that she's okay and to thank them just for caring about her. Folks, that's so much to me about what the Andy Griffith Show is about. As the characters on the Andy Griffith Show, they cared about each other. They looked out for one another. And, I hope that's what we're like in real life and here on the internet too, where we can get together. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you can get with us on the internet and join the chat rooms with us. You can head over to the Mayberry community, and there's all kinds of stuff going on there. There's forums involved. There's where you can talk about, let's see, some of the topics that currently are heading up. They got Mayberians in other roles where they're looking for people from the Andy Griffith Show and other shows. Shaggy-headed men. Hey, that sounds like something Floyd would want to do. Yeah, shaggy-headed men. And Colonel Harvey's got a poster that says, have you ever noticed, and who said that? Questions about the courthouse, funny lines from the show, mysteries in Mayberry, on and on it goes. And these folks here that are in the Mayberry community, they share their lives with one another and look out for one another. And isn't that what they did on the Andy Griffith Show? Wasn't that what we saw is, somebody's family member or something happened to them, they passed away or something like that. They looked out for one another. When Emma was sick or thought she was sick because Miss Ellie wasn't giving her pills, her wonder drug that cost 10 cents, what did everybody do? They brought food over to her so she didn't have to worry, so that they could take care of her. And folks, I hope that we here on the podcast are just like that for you and to you, that you know that you can reach out to us and we're going to try our best to help you out. And we care about you. And if you're usually in the chat room and you don't show up, we ask questions like, hey, where is KJ? Where's Lydia? Where's everybody has a nickname in there, by the way. Pretty much. We got Goober Fife and JPJ, which is Johnny Paul, Jason. We got all kinds of nicknames in the chat room and people's real names too. Sarah Blaine, our executive producer for this episode, she's in there right now. So those folks, they talk to each other during the podcast recording because, they're enjoying whatever we're talking about right now, but they're enjoying each other's company as well. That's what I want for you. I want you to be a part of it all. So I would like for you to join us on Monday nights, or you can head over to Mayberry Community and join up there. It doesn't cost anything. It's kind of like Facebook, but it's only Mayberry fans, and I run it, so there's not much. It's actually myself, and Colonel Harvey does more of the work than I do here lately, so I want to thank him for that. So I just want to encourage you to really get involved, be a part of some of these things. You saw the episodes or heard the episodes from the last couple of weeks. Those were at Mayberry Days. I encourage you to make plans to go to something like Mayberry Days or one of the other events. You got Mayberry in the Midwest coming up in 2015. You've got the Westminster. Mayberry comes to Westminster in South Carolina, also coming up this year, and Mayberry Days. And of course, Troy, North Carolina, there's an event there as well. So look at the event calendar. If you go to Mayberry.com or iMayberry.com and you look, there's an event calendar link right there. And if you click it, It'll take you to the event calendar of all the upcoming Mayberry events that are happening in and around the country. And you can be a part of them. And I tell you what, you're going to meet people who will be like KJ that's going to worry about you when you're missing or thank you because you thought of them. And I think that's something special. I know I've said this before, but you guys who listen to this podcast, you're special. You're different. You're Mayberry fans. And I got to tell you, Mayberry fans, they're the salt of the world. And I want to encourage you to get to know each other, because that's been one of the great pleasures for me doing the podcast and helping run the websites for the Andy Griffith Show, is getting to know you guys and meet you guys when we're at Mayberry events. People come up to me and introduce themselves, and they act like they've known me forever because they've been hearing me here on the podcast. They've been a part of the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter, getting a daily email. They know me from all these things. And folks, that's what it's all about. Enjoying the Andy Griffith Show and getting to know one another. Well, I'm not going to stay up on that soapbox. I believe I've about wore it out, but I would like to hear from you. I would love for you to give me a call at 888-684-8415 and tell me what you think. What's Mayberry meant to you? What's the Mayberry family meant to you? Have you got to know them? If you hadn't, call us and we'll get you in contact with them. You can also email me at floyd@imayberry.com, and I'll still work however I can to get you involved with us here in Mayberry. So, folks, until next time, go out there and find some Mayberry friends and tell them, hey, that Goober says hey. And we'll see you next time on Two Chairs No Waiting. Night, guys.